but today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll never stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she likes to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside.
All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Unscripted. Live here, of course, on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. But, of course, as you know, our NFL previews also go live on Roku at the Northeast Streaming Sports, good friends of ours. And we always appreciate them putting some airtime of our show on there. Let's go check them out on all social media platforms. Great people, great content, and you won't be disappointed. As always, doing these game previews with me heading into Week 14. Jay McLovin, what's up, Jay?
Hey, Logan, I'm doing well, man. I'm excited. As you know, I'm going to go ahead and announce it, man. We got our belt in today that Logan designed for us, and you guys can check that out on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook on the ESEN network, and you can check out the belt and what it looks like. If you want to decide you want to be a part of our fantasy football league next year, just private message us or message us directly at the Facebook site, ESEN Network on Facebook, and you too can have an opportunity to win this fabulous belt. And picks will be put on Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
I'm about to say it's a nice looking belt, Jay. This isn't a cheapo belt you can get at your local big box store. This is very great. Very time was put into this belt. Great shipping also. And want to give a shout out to, I believe, it's Undisputed Belts for helping us out with building this and having great communication. It's going to turn out great, Jay. It looks great. It looks awesome, even better in person since I've been staring at it since I got home. And it's going to be awesome. But like Jay said, obviously photos are going to be up on all of our social media websites, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of the fun ones there. And you can see some good photos of it. So it looks great, Jay. And like I said, best of luck to the winner of this year, the inaugural winner of the Fantasy Football Championship belt. Well, Jay, let's get into it. We're talking some NFL football, of course. And the first game we have up on our slate is between two teams who have become really much accustomed to here the last, I'd say, few years as rivals, quote unquote. But this year, I don't know. I'm not getting the same aura around it. And of course, I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills, who are currently coming into this game. Kind of a disappointing 6-6, 1-4 on the road, mind you, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 8-4 at Arrowhead Stadium. This game will be played at 4:25 Eastern on December 10th. Jay McLovin, give your breakdown. Who's taking the win in this matchup in the AFC?
Yeah, this is a really good game that I really like a lot. And I like it a lot for a lot of reasons. The Buffalo Bills have been beaten by teams that, quite honestly, shouldn't have beat them, a.k.a. the Jets. And the Chiefs have been beaten by teams that shouldn't have beaten them, a.k.a. the Packers as of recent. And so you just don't know really, of these two teams, who is going to win. And honestly, both of these teams, if they're playing, I think at their elite best, could make a vie for the Super Bowl. But they have not played at their elite best. They've actually been playing a little bit subpar in sub games. You got the 6-6 Bills, which is 500, which I never thought I would see. Nope. Taking on the 8-4 Chiefs. And, you look at Allen and Logan, like I told you before, if you got more interceptions than touchdowns, you're not going to get a Super Bowl ring. And right now, Allen has 13 picks on only 24 touchdowns. And I will tell you, Mahomes isn't that much better. He's having a very uncharacteristic type of year for Mahomes. And I don't know if, Taylor Swift got into his head too. But at some point, you got to figure he's got to turn this ship around and get back on point. Did Eric Bieniemy, was he really? I was starting to think Eric Bieniemy really had something to do with this damn team because the guy's got 10 interceptions on 22 touchdowns. So I think Eric Bieniemy may have meant more to this team than met the eye. I will tell you that. And I will tell you, I'm still making a case for Eric Bieniemy to become a head coach at some point. But you look at James Cook, Dalvin's brother, at 153 at 731 and a touch. I really expected more out of him, Logan. I drafted him for a fantasy league thinking that, this guy was averaging 5.7 yards a carry last year. I felt like this was going to be his breakout year, which is why I drafted him in the hopes that this would be a breakout year. And it really just hasn't been. I mean, there are still several instances where, Joshua Allen is still, getting a head rusher in some games. And that to me is a problem. Then you look at Pacheco, which is on the opposite end of that. He's got half the carries that Cook has, but yet he's got more yardage than Cook. That tells you his yards per carry is amazing at 739 and only 74 carries, and he's got 6 touchdowns. So Pacheco is having the breakout season, and James Cook is on the slow burner. So I don't get that one 100%. You can look at Diggs versus Kelsey, which is still a kind of a weird matchup. Logan, I've never seen where a tight end is the leading receiver of your team. It shouldn't be that way. He should be maybe at Kelsey's best. He should be number 2. But with Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyreek Hill and guys like that not on this team anymore, and you got Sky Moore and you got Kadarius Toney as your receivers, it's like you got a bunch of number 2s and you got Kelsey as your number 1, and I just don't think that's a good recipe for success, even though he says, don't disrespect us, you jabroni. Well, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but I am telling you, you're not the same Kansas City team that you were last year. And for that reason, I think Buffalo took a close loss to Philly and overtime, 37-34. That means he went up against the number 1 team at that particular point in time. Now I think it's the 49ers, but he's on the number 1 team and only come away with an overtime loss at 3. So that kind of tells you where Buffalo is in competitiveness. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they go down to Jordan Love and the freaking Packers, man, at 27-19. Didn't even take him to overtime. Just lost in regular time. I don't know. Love had put up three touchdowns on the Chiefs. It kind of tells you where the Chiefs' defense was or where they weren't. At this time, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills on this, Logan. I think we'll see another upset on this one. I think Buffalo rights the ship, takes out Kansas City. Close game, mind you, but I think they take out Kansas City. And if the game was 37-34 at Philly, I'm going to go 28-21 Buffalo over KC.
Okay, yeah, when you look at this game, it's between two teams who are, I would say, having down years in terms of just how their record has kind of shaked out. When I look at this game, Jay, a big factor that I think is going to be very much, kind of a key thing to zone in on for Buffalo is how many points they score versus how many they give up. So they get around 27 points per game, which is solid. They give up around 18, which isn't bad at all, Jay. They just lost some tough games. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, their defense is solid. We know that. And when you look at KC, I mean, they only get 22.9 points a game, which is kind of down for them. They give up 17. So, I mean, it's kind of neck and neck, but the slight edge when you look at the offense is towards Buffalo, which you don't really think of. You think more so KC, obviously with, how good Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey has been, that 1-2 combo for multiple seasons now. But it's a tough matchup. There's a reason these two teams, whenever they face off against each other, it's usually a highlight show. It's some really good matchups on both ends of the ball. And for me, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to take this one. You brought up the stats with Mahomes and also with Josh Allen and how they've had somewhat down years. But when I look at it, Jay, I think, sack numbers pretty much the same. Mahomes has been sacked, I believe, 2 more times all in all. But the interceptions, it's really what's kind of concerning me for both these guys. You mentioned Mahomes, only 22 touchdowns, 10 INTs. Allen, he's got 24 touchdowns, 13 INTs. So, I mean, you kind of take it with a grain of salt for each of them. For each touchdown you kind of get close to an interception or so. So it's really, I think, going to depend on the quarterback play. And I'm just going to go with the slight edge in this one to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they'll take the win in this ball game. Final score, though, I'll go 28-21. Good ball game all in all, but I'm excited to see how this one's going to play out.
Hold on, before you go to the next game, I like how you did that. We got the same score, but you went Chiefs and I went Bills.
That's how we do it, Jay. That's
fine with me. That's fine with me. I'm good.
All right, let's move on to our next game here. A game I know you're going to be heavily invested in.
Yeah.
That is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. A battle, Jay, for the NFC East. How is your team going to stack up against the Eagles?
Yeah, I don't want to be a typical Cowboy fan where I'm just all about my team and overshadowing things and making more out of not. But I do want to say that this is going to be a damn good game. And I think this is going to be a much better game even than what we saw in the close game in Philly. Now, the Eagles are 10-2, Cowboys are 9-3. So what does that mean? That means this is a battle for the divisional tie. Not the lead necessarily, but a tie for the lead. Because if they win today, that means they're 1-1 in the head-to-head, and they have the same record. So it's going to be a tie. Whoever they put on top is who they put on top. But either way, it's a battle for the divisional tie. So this game is mega huge. I mean, mega, mega, mega huge. So that both these teams are going to be geared up. Number one, because it's a divisional game. And number two, it's for the tie or the sole lead possession. Because if Philly wins this, they go up 2 games on the Cowboys. And they really want to be 2 games up on the Cowboys. So I fully expect a full accoutrement of talent and strife in this game from both sides of the ball for both teams, honestly. Like I said before, we lost 28-23 in Philly. But this game's coming back to Dallas. Baby, we're bringing it back home, number one. Dak, in that loss to Philly, went 374, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Logan, I'm telling you, this dude is not playing like the typical Dak that we have seen in the past where he is interception-laden. He is actually protecting the ball. He only has 6 interceptions for the season, Logan, and he's gone up against some pretty big teams and still walked away with no interceptions. That says something. I don't care who people are. That does say something. And I'm not getting on the Dak bandwagon, but I am saying you got to recognize it does say what he is this season. 14 yards rushing, not a whole lot, but who really cares? Because I don't want him to be the leading rusher. I want my running back to be the leading rusher. Pollard went 51 for 73 rushing yards against Philly. So that's where Philly kind of got us, was they were able to stuff the run and keep Pollard in check. However, in a comma, we also kept Swift in check and Hurts in check to combine between the two of them for 79 yards. So Swift and Hurts only gave up 79 yards to those 2 guys. So that's a big thing in and of itself. That means neither one of these teams can rush against the other, but we can sure as hell pass. They held Brown and Smith to 117 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. So that's where they got us, right? We got them receiving at 3 touchdowns, and they got us in passing at 2 touchdowns. But Hurts was only giving up 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was the stat line for the game against the Cowboys. So we kept them 2 guys at 79 yards rushing. We kept Hurts to just right around 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. So it's not like the defense didn't go out there and do their job. We needed 1 more touchdown. That's it. We would have won that game. We would have won at 30-28 had we gotten 1 more. That's 1 possession, Logan. 1. Eagles got blown out by San Francisco last week, 42-19. We know that. And Swift averaged more than more yards per carry than Pollard has over the long of the season. So Swift has been more yards per carry than what Pollard has. But Logan, I'm telling you, man, we are primed. We are primed for a game that, quite honestly, can go either way. It really can. It could be Eagles. It could be Cowboys. We don't know. It's super, super close. The last meeting, I think it's going to be super close this meeting. I think both teams, Dallas and the Eagles, got blown out by San Francisco. So I will tell you this. San Francisco clearly is the best team in the NFC because they blew out the top 2 teams underneath them in the NFC. So that just kind of tells you where they are. But I will tell you this, Logan. It's going to be a close game. I want to believe my Cowboys can do this. I want to believe they can get this win at home. I'm not on the bandwagon where I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to win. No, it's going to be a damn close game, and anybody can take it. I'm going to go Cowboys, but it's going to be a one-possession game. And I'm going to say the last one was 28-23. I'm going to say it's going to be reversed, 28-21 Dallas.
Okay, Jay, super quick question here, because I saw this was a talking point. If Dak Prescott and the Cowboys win this game, and most importantly, if Dak has a solid performance, do you think this kind of puts him in as the front runner for the MVP award?
No. Okay. And I will tell you, and I will only tell you because C.J. Stroud, and the way that guy is playing as a rookie and what he's doing over there in Houston, when people thought what he's doing with receivers that basically he built. Because let's be honest with you, when we were going through Fantasy Football League, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and company, we weren't looking at these guys.
Nope.
Not until later, like 6th, 7th, 8th round, where we're looking at these guys. But Dak has built these guys. If we had to redraft and do the whole thing over again, you gonna tell me Tank Dell is not higher up, or Nico Collins isn't higher up? So because he did so much with what he had, you got to kind of put that in Stroud's category. I think he has a fair.
That's fair. I just say that just because we've seen a hot streak in a way for Dak Prescott. And this is a big game for him, Jay. This is a huge game for him. This is for, like you mentioned, significant standings right now in the NFC East. If Dallas can win this game, they'll tie him up. And if they lose this game, that knocks him down a peg. And we're getting closer to the end of the season. You want to win as many games as you can. You want to beat as many division rivals as you can. Philadelphia, they're coming in this game pissed off, Jay. They got the doors blown off of them last week against the 49ers. So they're going to have a little extra heat to them. Dallas, they're on a nice win streak. I know you've been loving it. But like you said, this is another really good matchup, another close game. But for me, I'll go with the Philadelphia Eagles getting a tight win in this one. I think both these teams are pretty evenly matched. I mean, you read the stats. I mean, you look player for player for both sides of the ball, Jay. I mean, they're pretty much even, like dead set. But I'll go the Eagles close win in this one. Give me Eagles 24. Give me Cowboys 21. 3-point ball game. That's what I want to see. What's up?
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
We had talked about this, and I want to say one thing about C.J. Stroud. We talked about this in the group chat. And I love Phil Trost. That dude's my boy, man. He's been my boy since day one when we had the whiskey hour. I just want to say to Phil Trost, I thought long and hard when he said, Jay, you got wild takes, but you got to support your takes. And I want to support this. We were talking about C.J. Stroud, and I made the comment that C.J. Stroud, the Panthers got it wrong. I said, you got to believe that the Panthers are kicking themselves for not taking C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young. And Trost said, well, Jay, Bryce Young doesn't have the developmental talent that what Houston has given to C.J. Stroud. And he may be correct, but let's be honest. Who the hell thought we'd even be talking about C.J. Stroud in the MVP conversation? Look, it's one thing to develop somebody. It's another thing to talk about an MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? That's like going to the next level. And that's not all coaching. That's some of that. A lot of that is C.J. Stroud himself having the desire and the want to be better. And I don't think you can say that C.J. Stroud hasn't exceeded expectations far and beyond just simple development. A lot of that is on him and what he wants to do. And let's be honest, Ohio hasn't had exactly the most success at developing quarterbacks, nowhere near what Alabama has done for their quarterbacks. So I think those alone should support that argument, Big Phil. And I hope you hear this, that C.J. Stroud is a better quarterback. And you got to admit, Logan, I think even you'll agree with that Carolina's got to be kicking themselves for not taking C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I think for sure, especially when you look at those records right now. All right, Jay, let's move on to the NFC West here. I'm going to go and give my take first just because I had to think this was going to be another blowout. The Seahawks are coming into this game limping. I mean, so far, Geno Smith is questionable. Kenneth Walker, the third, is questionable. Zach Charbonnet is questionable. We don't know who's going to be on the sidelines right now for Seattle. They're 6-6 on the year. They've had a down year after last year. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, they are locked and loaded. They are looking tremendous. I'll go with the big one in this one, Jay. Give me the 49ers. I'll go 35-14. I just think the 49ers, as you just mentioned, they're the best team in the NFC. They might be the best team in the NFL. I mean, The only thing that can beat them right now is themselves. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely, Logan. It's going to be 49ers that are going to take this win. It's going to be probably a blowout, and it's not even close. Yeah. But I do want to tip my hat, if you will. I want to tip my hat to Geno Smith and the Seahawks for putting up 35 points on the Dallas Cowboys defense. And we know how tough that Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, Bland has 5 pick sixes already, NFL record for history for 5 interception pick sixes. And the fact that he didn't get a pick six against Geno, that says something, right? Mm-hmm. And you're right, man. Hey, look, the trainers over there in Seattle are working double overtime to keep these guys on the field. But you're right, man. Look, it's not even close. Logan, it's not going to be close, man. It's going to be the 49ers over the Seahawks. I don't know, man. 35-14, 35-13, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, but, I mean, I just think that just with how beat up Seattle's roster is so far, it's just going to be a tough task for them, unfortunately. All right, Jay, moving to the Monday night slate. We get a doubleheader this week, which is always nice to see. Let's see. I mean, they're both going to start at the same time, so let's go with the first game here. Titans and Dolphins. Give your thoughts, man. Who's going to win this one?
God, this is almost like the 49ers Seahawks, and it's not even going to be close, man. I mean, it really is. Hey, I tip my hat to Will Levis, but let's be honest. After the first game that Will Levis put up when Tannehill went down and he had that massive fantasy league point, I thought he was going to do some more afterwards. He ain't done bupkis since. He's got like 7 points, 6 points, 9 points, fantasy league-wise. So that just kind of tells you that Levis has kind of hit his ceiling. And it's not his fault. He's just a young guy. He's a young guy, and he's got a lot of development to go. He is better than Logan, correct me if I'm wrong. What is it? Is it Malik Williams?
Malik Willis, yeah.
Yeah, Malik Willis over there. He's better than Malik Willis, so I'll give the Titans that one. But the Titans really do need a true quarterback to take over for Tannehill when he goes down. And when Daniel goes down, it just isn't even close. And because of the disparity at quarterback, and because the Dolphins' defense is so amazing, and because Hopkins only has 774 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Tyreek Hill has 1,481 and 12 touchdowns, and he is, at this point, a fantasy guru for points, Tyreek Hill. I think you got to go them. Over the last 5 games, only lost for Miami was San Francisco. Again, another feather in San Francisco's hat. Why they're the best is because they took out Miami, which, quite honestly, in the AFC, I got to tell you, I think Miami's the best team in the AFC. Bar none, I think Miami's the best team. And if you got the best team in the AFC getting beat by the best team in the NFC, that just gives you a precursor of what you can expect in the Super Bowl.
Well said. Yeah, man, I thought the Titans were going to be better this year. I didn't think I don't know if, they were going to win their division, but I expect them to be this rough. Obviously, your starting quarterback goes down for the season. That's never ideal. But it's not like they were, locked and loaded, looking great whenever he was on the field. I mean, the Titans just got issues right now, man. They're just rough. Meanwhile, Miami, they've had pretty much a flawless year. They're undefeated at home where this game is going to be, so that's also their advantage. I mean, we talk about how good their offense, Jay, is, but their defense is just right up there also. I feel like that's really gets kind of undercut in how good their defense is. But, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins. Big win in this one. I'll go final score. I'll go with the Miami Dolphins putting up 30, and I'll go with the Titans getting 10. I just think it's going to be a kind of an easy game for the Dolphins, much to the love of our boy Rob Strite. All right, Jay, final game here, Packers-Giants, another Monday night showdown here. Who you got, Jordan Love or, the star of New York now with Tommy DeVito?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime you're going up against Danny DeVito's brother, you probably got a good chance at winning because just like old boy said in Twins, everything was good went into him and everything that was crap and left over went into you. So poor Tommy DeVito got all the crap thrown into him, and unfortunately it shows. Now, I will say this. Now, I don't want to trash him too hard because the Giants have beaten Washington, which is a decent team. Washington is a decent team. Not a great team, but a decent team. Now, where I guess you could gloat a little bit is over New England. However, New England just beat the Steelers. So I don't know. It's kind of weird over there, however you want to look at that. But he did beat New England. He did beat Washington and back-to-back wins. So DeVito is on a 2-game win streak. So I guess I got to be a little bit cautious about how I speak about, Tommy DeVito, Dan DeVito's brother. So I'll be a little cautious with that. But again, he's going against the Packers that just came off an amazing win over the Chiefs. And he is playing against the Giants' third-string quarterback. So what does that tell me? That the only productive option in New York is Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
And how much can he really take? Look, I don't care what they say, Logan. I've always said this. Every time Saquon takes the field, I take an air of caution and I take a couple of deep breaths because I just know he is a moment's away from going down with injury. I just still feel that way about him. I'm not out of that woods yet with Saquon. We're not going to say, yeah, Saquon's good. He's not going to have any injuries. I feel like he's always one play away from an injury. And so when you put all of the pressure, all of the weight on Saquon to do something, so you open up your passing lanes, that still makes me nervous. And for those reasons, that's why I got the Packers, who are on their own 3-game streak, because they beat Kansas City, they beat Detroit, and they beat I can't read my last one, the Chargers.
Yep.
So they beat and 2 out of the 3 are pretty top level, high class teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, you got to take that into consideration. So I think it's going to be Packers over Giants, and I think it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'm going to say 28-17 in favor of the Giants. I mean, it's going to be in favor of the Packers. The Packers.
Yeah, Packers.
I know
Jay, whenever I was doing my research for this game, it really kind of made me think you have to do research for fantasy football as well, not just for the key players, but for the offensive line. Because the offensive line, you don't get a pick for that. And when you look, Jay, at this Giants team, this might be one of the worst offensive lines in football. And I say that because Saquon Barkley averages 4.2 yards a carry, which is down for him, obviously. 697 yards, Jay. Only 1 touchdown on the year on the ground, which is definitely unlike him.
Yeah,
it is. And when you look at the O-line for the Giants, right, Jay? Guess how many sacks? Take a guess. How many sacks they've given up as a team this year throughout 13 weeks?
Given the fact that Daniel Jones is an IR, I'm going to say at least 20.
Oh, a lot more than
that. I'm probably low.
Brother, a lot. Daniel Jones himself got 30.
There you go. I mean, that tells you everything you need to. So, okay. So if Daniel got 30, then I would say probably around 45 or 50.
You still got a little bit more, my brother. So,
jeez Louise, they got more than that.
Daniel Jones has been sacked 30 times. Tommy DeVito has been sacked 28 times. And Tyrod Taylor has been sacked 10 times for a grand total of 69 sacks allowed on the season. You can't get
I'll tell you one thing from New York. They do have my favorite number in sacks.
You can't get nothing done with that. I mean, it's a miracle they've been on this win streak. Let's be real here. But, their defense has been looking solid at least, right? That's what's been kind of winning them these games. It's not really the offensive firepower. It's more so the defense. I mean, granted, you beat, New England the other week, which, 10-7. That's just kind of a crapshoot. Washington, they have an awful defense. We know that. But I don't trust it, man. I don't know if this kind of miracle run for the Giants is going to kind of continue. I mean, they're 4-8 for God's sake. They're not going anywhere, I don't think. This is just a nice little blip in the season. I will say, though, Jay, the Packers have been kind of a pleasant surprise. Jordan Love, obviously, early in the year. I think we're both, going to say that we both thought he was kind of overhyped in a way or not ready. But he's looked pretty solid these past few weeks. He's looked more and more like a starter, which kind of proves, that we just got to give these guys some time and see what they're all about. But for me, I'm going to agree with you, my friend. Give me the Green Bay Packers taking the win in this one. Also, like I said, it's going to be your other Monday night game. They'll be on the road. Final score in this game, Green Bay, I'll go 28. And for the New York Giants, I'll go 13. I can't do it, man. I can't do much with that Giants offense. And neither can their quarterbacks. They're sitting at home with ice right now on their chest and everywhere else on their body. Jay McCluffin, my friend, always a pleasure to talk sports with you. As always, man, it's a pleasure each and every single week here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as on Roku with Northeast Streaming Sports. Once again, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe so you don't miss another single episode. We go live each and every single week doing college previews, NFL previews, and so much more. Once again, we appreciate you, our fans. We'll talk to you all again on another live episode of the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network.